Hello and welcome to this new episode. We're gonna go within this episode into the age of Taurus, which is between 4300 BC until roughly 2150 BC. Within this episode, we're gonna dive deeper into ancient Egypt and very much concepts like Ma'at, but also the mythology, which is very much core of ancient Egypt. In the last episode, we went into the Horus and Arctea, and Horus and Arctea very much were about this coming together, this Heros Gamos, of the divine twins coming together in that sense, the masculine and the feminine, and then very much after that the integration into society, and part of that what we're going to go into is exactly that. And Ma'at very much plays an important role in that, at least in ancient Egypt, within this concept. And very much this way of relating to the world, to, well, in that sense, like the feminine, but also the masculine, and kind of like everything that exists within this fabric of reality, and how we relate to it. Very much stemming from an animistic base of understanding. Similarly to what we talked about also regarding the Arctea in the last episode. So, coming to Egypt, Ma'at, and Animism. Well, first, I think I should go a little bit into Animism. And Animism very much is it's very much that, in that sense, everything contains an essence. Could call it a sense of consciousness in some sense, but it wouldn't really do it right. It's more like a spirit. Could talk about it in that sense, and in that sense, every piece of land, or like every place, has its own spirit. Every building, everything has its own spirit, and there's this hierarchy of spirits regarding animism, and this very much forms the basis for a lot of the deities from ancient Egypt, but there's also obviously the lower layer below the deities, with all these different spirits of animals and of the land itself, so these land spirits. And above this very much is the concept of Ma'at, so divine order. And Egyptian ideology promoted, this idea of Ma'at, this divine order. And a key aspect of that is the unification of the two lands. It was Upper and Lower Egypt that they had. And there was this combination of the two that was very much important. These two aspects working together. And in some sense, if one really thinks about it, you can kind of already see like the idea of like the divine twins in it already. These two opposites coming together. Also with like Egypt, there being the temporal and the spiritual coming together, and these different opposites, and very much there's some of that underlying idea from a Jungian lens. It's most likely present within that. And Ma'at for the ancient Egyptians very much was, well, truth, balance, order, harmony, law, morality, and justice. And Ma'at was also, a goddess who personified these concepts, and very much regulated the stars, seasons, and the actions of mortals and the deities who had brought order from chaos at the moment of creation. And then in some sense you can really see it as this kind of idea of, I guess, right action, to act in a manner that is aligned with reality, aligned with the way things are, without causing this sense of stagnation, to keep things how we talk about it in the Foxen a lot. Keep things wiggly, to keep things flowing, and you'll see a lot of these examples later on in the episode as well, regarding this idea of keeping things flowing. And a key aspect of that, coming from the Animism, but also the Ma'at, is kind of this idea of working together with nature in a smart way, and to respect the ecosystem, to very much relate to nature in a way that is not trying to control it or dominate it or anything of the sort, but to find a balance between chaos and order. Chaos and order in the sense of, like, I guess, what humans would understand, because Ma'at is something that is very much beyond our general conceptions of order, because there's this sense of order of that we seem to be having regarding, like, everything needs to be like squares in that sense, but the sense of order in the more, I guess, cosmic sense would be something that kind of contains this sense of, I guess, chaos in some way, and chaos is the changing part. You can see this also in regarding the seasons, for instance, as well. There's the constant in that, but there's also the changing aspect of it as well in that idea. Even though Ma'at also very much links to the ideas and kind of concepts, and there's these eternal laws that kind of govern everything. Then you also have here within this slide the image here, the sun with the rays going down onto the solar bark here. And you can see Ra, Thoth, Ma'at, Hathor, and Anubis. And Anubis is fighting off here the snake Apep in this particular image that I had found. And very much the solar bark itself can be seen as this symbol of the journey of individuation from Jungian lens, with these different figures such as Ra and Thoth and Ma'at and Hathor and Anubis, representing these different figures, these different dual aspects in some sense. But at the same time, like, there's these different aspects coming together into singular figure, these couples in some sense, with there also being Thoth, and Thoth regarding Hermes is kind of like a trickster kind of figure to some degree, but also this kind of figure that can unite or like mediate between opposites, and this mediating function, where the snake Apep is very much this snake of chaos, but also kind of this libido that is like unintegrated, and it's kind of like overcome through this process of individuation by creating this awareness of this flow, this inner flow. But going deeper into Ma'at itself, so the ancient Egyptians had like it says here, deep conviction of an underlying holiness and unity within the universe, and cosmic harmony was achieved by correct public and ritual life, so very much like right action. And they very much also saw that, any disturbance in cosmic harmony could have consequences for the individual as well as the state. And in some larger sense, you could really say also that it has a consequence for the world around it if one messes with the world in ways that we do not fully understand, or if we don't actually, if it doesn't align with kind of the way things are, to let things flow naturally as it comes, but naturally in an integrated manner from a Jungian lens, where its opposite is very much like this concept of Isfet, so chaos, lies, and violence. And this is very much the unintegrated side of it all, where it's very much not integrated, and hence there's this sense of disconnect, and this disconnect from the cosmic harmony, where it's kind of like that. What Jung also said, that nature never deceives, only we do. We deceive ourselves, and in some sense it's kind of like that kind of idea regarding that we can end up distorting the way things really are, and actually create, in that sense, actual chaos, even though we might think in some sense it's order, but it's actually chaos, and then there's these it's similarly like what I talked about in the previous episode regarding, you can't treat the land with violence, similarly like also with like the masculine and the feminine, that it needs to be a willing relationship, and there needs to be a relationship that is equal, in the sense of that there's a give and a take. So if one takes something from nature, that there is like an act of trying to repair and to very much respect this harmony that keeps everything working and alive. And the Egyptians very much had this understanding of that. They had that understanding of that they were, in that sense, very much dependent on the ecosystem, and very much this fine balance that was there, so that then, the sense of chaos, or like everything returning to a desert, would be averted, and life itself would be good.